Renter's insurance for 2 apartments. Building apartments can be a lucrative business if you do it right, but it can also be terribly risky. Not only do you risk losing money if your apartments don't rent, but you also risk getting sued if something breaks and hurts a tenant, or dealing with losses if your tenants trash your apartments with water damage. Besides this, you have the run-of-the-mill risks that you get with any real estate, such as flood, fire, and earthquake damage. This is why it's vital to have commercial apartment insurance before you build or buy an apartment complex. The right kind of insurance for you will depend on how much risk you're going to assume yourself and how much risk you're going to ask an insurance company to assume. For instance, if you decide not to get insurance for flooding, your prices will be lower, but you'll be responsible for damages if a flood comes through your apartment building. There are a few things that you can't get by without when it comes to apartment insurance, but there are other things that you may decide to just take care of on your own. One of the major things that any commercial apartment insurance should cover is liability. It's easy to predict about how much you would lose if your apartment complex were leveled by a hurricane or torn up by a fire, but it's very difficult to assess just how much liability problems could cost you. If someone gets hurt on your property because of some negligence of your building contractor, janitorial staff, or whoever else, it could mean major money problems for you. This is why your focus with a commercial insurance policy should be first and foremost on liability. Of course, you don't necessarily want to have to replace your buildings on your own should problems arise either, which is why it's important to have insurance on your physical property in the apartment complex. Be sure that you understand exactly what your commercial apartment insurance policy will take care of, though. Some may not cover certain tenant damages, so you might have to require that your tenants use renter's insurance to cover their own damages. Also, if you build in certain areas, you may not be able to get flood insurance or hurricane insurance except through certain government programs, so this is something to look into.